GG Mappy, I am the elder millennial global community lead for Legends of Runeterra and Ruben Zoo, who are going to talk to you all about
Ruin es muy bello, loco.
We know we've got a little bit of something teased.
Pero ese perro no se había cortado el cabello hace como un mes.
Is it Vlad coming?
No, bueno, es largo que lo tiene ya.
Sell the physical
la
cards
mierda.
that we had at the Soul Fighter event. No, we are not doing either of those, but we are giving away some of the cards.
Ya las carticas.
So, if you are in the chat today, you'll have some chances to win some of the physical card packs. So, yay, I can see you all in the chat now. Yay, there's Soul Fighter ones, so they've got a little bit of 7A, 7B, and some Soul Fighter. So get ready as we do that.
People are excited.
Yeah, people are excited.
That's the good stuff. That's the good stuff right there. We got swag.
So to start that off, let's go ahead and say in chat, I want to know who won the Runeterra Open for EMEA this weekend. If you put that in the chat with the hashtag lore, we'll look back through and whoever says it will randomize that and send a winner. And on that note, let's get into some patch notes and
Pero que van a regalar una de esas. Pero no me va a llegar hasta acá.
Here we go. So, I'll have y'all yourselves first.
Yeah. Sure. Can we gotta get this screen fixed just a second, y'all. Cool. Hey y'all, I'm Steve Rubin, aka Riot Ruben Zoo. I'm a senior game designer on Legends of Runeterra. I've worked as a lead designer on champions like Samira, Akshan, Viego, and Aphelios. I've also started working on Path of Champions content, so Jack and Set are things that I've worked on. I've also worked final design on a lot of champs. These are just some that I worked a lot on, are Annie and Ziggs. Definitely love me some aggro champs. Currently, I'm the design lead for competitive lore and tournaments, so I build the structures for tournaments as well as worlds and stuff like that. I'm co-designing the upcoming 2 expansions this year, along with Riot Dirtle, so look forward to that. And my favorite card is Decimate, and my favorite Poro is Nimble Poro. It is a really good Poro.
Pose.
Yeah,
just the pose.
Just the she like emulates Mina, which I always really liked ever since I started playing this like game internally before it was even released.
El Diezmar, su carta favorita.
Hey y'all, I'm Frank Scarin, aka Riot Briss, also a game designer on Legenterra. Been on the team for about 4 years.
Fue el que desarrolló, bueno, ayudó a desarrollar Sirenson.
Qué puta. Game analysis team recently.
Se lo trajeron para acá solo para que le echaran mierda.
A bunch of her followers, as well as a lot of the flex cards in 7B, like Portal Scholar and everybody's favorite Siren Song. You can also find me grinding away on the ranked ladder. I just really love playing the game with y'all, and got some fun facts up there about me to various degrees of overemphasis. But I will say I'm friend of babies, not my baby. Good friend's newborn son Parker. He is very cute, and I had the pleasure of hiking an entire hike with him strapped to my chest, which was a lot of fun.
All right.
Front page of the ladder too, right?
Front page as of yesterday.
Te he dicho todo random. Soy fanático de los bebés, pero ese que tengo en la foto no es mío.
All right, so we're going to close that first challenge, and we'll go back and find stuff for who the winner is and let you know on Twitch. But we're going to move on with patch.
Woo! All right, so the patch details. So for this patch, we're working mostly on standard adjustments, as well as a few adjustments that we want to do for Eternal. These are mostly nerfs to both Heart of the Huntress overperformers, so stuff that recently came out, and some of the lingering overperformers from Glory and Navori the previous season. Also, of course, we're throwing in some buffs. We do want to mention that this is a much smaller patch than normal. Riot took a break to recharge, and sometimes that's really important for us to just make sure that we can come back and hit the ground running. So, you know, the week we took off ended up eating a bit into this patch, which is why it's smaller than normal. But the good news is there's more changes coming in a month in patch 4.8, and that patch is actually going to be both Eternal and Standard.
El siguiente parche, que será el de variedades,
in that patch that we didn't quite get to because we were kind of off a bit on the timing of this patch. That's okay. We've still got a lot to show you today.
This bear and moose aren't gonna fight themselves. Someone had to go do it. All right, yeah, so let's just kick right into the nerfs. And right off the bat, we've got our proposed nerf to Siren Song, just for y'all. So Siren Song, obviously a very contentious card, really came out swinging with the Heart of the Huntress expansion. Internally, when we first concepted this card, we did Evelyn and Lucian were really struggling at the time, and we wanted to give them a really strong option, hopefully revitalize them in Standard. We were kind of a little torn on what the exact cost of the card should be, went back and forth, and we decided to try to let it be strong for those champions. It obviously came in way over what we expected. We underestimated the interaction with Zolani a little bit, and now we're seeing it being pretty ubiquitous.
Nah, que la subestimaron.
So with all that in mind, we are giving it a pretty harsh nerf of +2 cost, which we are expecting is probably going to really remove it, especially from like the tier 1 competitive metagame. But I think it is a card that in the future, because we do like it facilitating those champions, we may very likely go back and look for like a healthier, steady state card, because we do think it can good, sustainable, healthy.
Que quizás probablemente la reviertan en algún punto.
Removing coin from burst to focus. This is actually a change that in LOR we really pride the gameplay on being reactive, which is kind of interesting in this case because
esto siempre debió haber sido así, siempre debió haber sido focus.
Pero bueno, plays where you burst out a deny or you burst out a concussive palm. But ultimately, as we saw coin play out, we saw a lot of situations where you would have a set, a level 2 set or a level 2 karma in play, and not really have that window of interaction where you could get rid of those champions before they started copying coins or creating showstoppers. So here we actually felt
personajes positivas de cuando iba al colegio. Sí, igualito.
We're also kind of excited about this change because this enabled some of the other buffs in the patch to the bilge watcher portion, which wasn't quite as potent as Ionia. So yeah, we just hope that this makes it a lot more interactable to fight against these coin decks, and also really have a more
claro, muchos cambios salen rotos por lógica.
Gives you a whole
son intencionales y está bien, ¿no? Pero hay que almacenar, me parece que tardó mucho, pues. Bastante.
Yep. Next up,
ahora esto. ¿Qué dicen de esto?
Pandemonium, the now thrice nerfed monkey machine. So this card, ever since we added Plunder to Noxus and added a bunch of cheap Plunder activators, this card has really been overperforming. And, you know, right now this nerf might seem a little out of place because with Siren Song kind of dominating things, you know, Powder Pandemonium's like the 12th best thing to do with Siren Song, and those Plunder decks are kind of like backseating. So this is more of a preparation to make sure that once Siren Song is like put back in its place, like Plunder doesn't just immediately come back in and take over. So with a nerf like this, we really are looking to just have like a kind of healthy, brand new metagame once everything settles.
Bueno, no dijo nada.
Kaisa devolved. So we're removing quick attack off of Kaisa.
Nada, que no sea tan rápido, básicamente. Blunder no debería terminar la partida tan rápido.
Environment with less positive removal, Kaisa has just been consistently but quietly overperforming, and in general we think that the base quick attack, especially when you combine it with giving her challenger right away, really lets her farm your units in kind of an interactive way. We actually really like the gameplay pattern of her without quick attack because
eso sí es cierto, o sea, teniendo en cuenta que Kaisa se convea con otras palabras claves como scout, desafío, que de base ya tuviese ataque rápido, sí es mucho, pues. Sí entiendo.
Yeah, definitely worth noting. It's like even just that.
Es muy rápido que Kaisa se salga de control. Muy rápido.
It's kind of a keyword you can't get too easily in Shurima, so now you're gonna have to look for it if you want it. Yeah, next up, Plaza Guardian. This is kind of a nerf for both standard and eternal. Definitely like a little more eternal leaning. And
sí, esto más para eterno. Se lo dimos ya.
Buff we made to Plaza Guardian a while back.
Para estándar no tiene mucho sentido.
Has like really grown, and there are just like so many spells, so many cheap spells. It's like, and also, you know, a bunch of cards that can allow you to copy Plaza Guardian and make more of them. It's just really easy to very quickly get the Plaza Guardian machine online and just start printing them and overwhelming your opponent in kind of a way that could feel pretty oppressive. So we're just taking that extra power and health back off, make them a little tinier again, put some more play against there.
I think now's a good time to potentially give away another
booster pack. Where'd that come from?
All right, Briss, you want to name off this one?
Sure. Which one are we doing then? Okay, so for this one, you know, Rune Club Barracks and I have been doing the community card kitchen with y'all, and y'all a while back decided on what region that card should be. So for this booster pack, tell me, what region did the players decide that they want the community card kitchen card to be?
And please use #lore as well so that I can search it and get you entered in the drawing. Thank you.
Pero que en Twitch,
all right, so we're gonna have these drawings open for like 30 seconds. That way you aren't all just shouting what we see in chat right now as we're talking about patch notes, so we can have a better conversation with you.
Porque lo copio y lo pego ya mismo, mi rey.
But it's not the ultimate decider, so just make sure you get your.
Nunca se sabe si uno gana.
And also, you're only entered once for each time that you type it, so you don't need to spam it completely. I assume I'm seeing exactly 1,275 entries.
I should get on my phone and put my name in there.
No stealing other people's answers. I know it's tough.
All right, we'll give it 10 more seconds, then we'll hop back into the nerfs.
Creo que es en el chat. Creo que es en el
How
chat.
was y'all?
It was good.
It was good.
Yeah.
Did a hike, almost died in the oppressive sun, but
Oh no.
It's been really sunny.
no
here in
baby
LA.
on me though. So that was just me eating that sunlight.
Frank and I did an escape room.
Yeah, we did do an escape
And
room.
did
It was
some
a lot of
barbecue
fun.
afterwards.
It was a
Pretty
zombie
solid.
themed escape room.
Nice.
Went for a bike ride. Very active weekend.
These sound great. All right, so I am closing the chat in 3, 2, 1. Boink. There we go. And back to the nerfs.
Nice. So yeah, this is probably gonna be a lot of context for just one small change here. So strap in. This is our only Eternal only card, I believe. In
También
this patch,
enfocado
this
solo
big
para
change.
Eterno.
We just thought this was an easy change that we wanted to make in this patch, since it was probably gonna happen next month anyway. But the patch in a month, patch 4.8, will be an Eternal focused patch. So we'll see a lot
Sí, se iba a decir,
more,
este nerfeo actualmente no tiene sentido.
as well as nerfs in that patch
Me imagino que lo apresuraron y ya porque...
Charge was just
Bueno, quién sabe por qué.
really strong as a card that we call a tutor.
Pero que ahorita no es un problema esa carta. Pero que igualmente le van a nerfear, así que... está bien.
Most cards don't actually rotate until they've been in standard a year, but Legionary Charge, because it's a versatile tutor card, we felt the need to sort of rotate it quickly, and now we actually have the sort of ongoing problem of this being a super versatile tutor that can get you a 0 mana Plaza Guardian. So we're just
No, el pool, es para que Serafín no la duplique, solamente eso.
Problem, not necessarily a standard or Eternal specific thing.
Porque que te la crees Serafín es bastante mierda, la verdad.
No
haces nada con ella.
The game healthy where we can, so adding a cost onto this just to make that a little bit less
Sí, tal cual, para rellenar.
Also, definitely worth noting,
Tal cual.
it's going to be a lot harder to copy this with Seraphine now, so he'll pull back on some of that degeneracy.
Or create it with Seraphine, if you're really lucky. Or
True.
sputtering songs.
Yeah, and next up, we got the Crimson Pigeon. Kind of been an iconic Noxus 1-drop for a while now. Now, instead of
Así está maldito.
granting that extra +1/+1, it's going to be a give, which means it'll only last for the round. This card's just kind of pulling a little bit too much weight for a 1-drop and really kind of clouding out some of the other options play, especially now that it's also got a subtype, so it's playing into that too. We're hopeful that this change will still allow the card to be a desirable option for those aggro decks, because, you know, it is kind of giving you some, like,
Sí, este bicho escala muy
pseudo
rápido.
healing because it blocks and takes damage.
Y más cuando el rival no tiene como matarlo
Down the road.
en curva.
But yeah, at the end of the day, this was
Le
just
sale
kind
de
of
control
the
muy
power
rápido
budget
este
for
perro.
1-drop here, which is like a little bit too high, so we're trying to rein that back.
O sea, que un
while still
coste 1
allowing it to
termine
just
siendo
be
un
a base,
4/4.
you know, 1 mana 2/2,
No.
which is always a good rate.
No
Yeah, I
debería.
think we've seen this with Rearguard too, where like these high health early game Noxus units really translate into a super high win rate when you have them in the game, and we just want to make it a bit less sharp.
Yeah, especially because Pigeon out of control sometimes if you kind of have a slow start
We
again.
do another boosty.
Oh, sure. Yeah, all right.
Is it up to me? All right,
make
we
it
got a
happen.
boosty. Get ready. You've got 30 seconds. Who was the winner of the first Heart of the Huntress Open in the Americas?
En América.
Ooh.
Drizov.
Did I say that right?
¿No fue Drizov?
Heart of the Huntress, the season that we're in, right?
Ay, Nogueira. Ah, el de ahorita. Ah, ya, ya. A Nogueira.
Okay, you see some people.
Rápido. Vamos a copiar y pegar.
And there it goes.
It took a couple moments.
sacar la delante, ¿no?
Yeah, it's like the people who pay attention to the competitive scene definitely have an advantage.
Yeah, I want to know who's copy pasting.
Todos. Todos copian y pegan.
You see right person there.
How you doing it? You got people on the
I got
outside?
people on the outside farming boosters for me.
¿Qué pasa, Fernando?
It was a fun
Simple Way, ¿cómo estás, mi rey?
to watch going through this weekend. We had some really good community streams too.
Yeah, I thought
Prefería
Austin
meter a ese
Goshu
one
was
que a
always
Ani.
fun.
Sí.
I did like that. Definitely
Totalmente.
one of the things that, you know, this patch probably affects is nerfing the Siren Song. We saw a lot of the Siren Song decks, of course, kind of validated us putting it into nap time, so to speak, at 6 cost for now while we work on
Lo
more
ponía acá
changes
también por
to
si
the
acaso.
meta eventually.
All right, so about 10
Yo no
more
sé cómo coño te irán a
seconds.
mandar esa carta si ganas, pero
And
bueno.
I'm gonna type that it's closing.
3 meses para que te llegue una cartica.
Yeah, a little semisonic.
Un sobre.
Yeah, nerf those one-hit wonders.
Oh yeah.
Te mandan un
All right, let's
PDF
get
para que
back
las
to some
imprimo.
Bilgewater.
All right, let's hit it. Okay, so yeah, Bilgewater coin buffs. So these are changes that actually were enabled by the coin being focus. Sometimes this happens where we have a design internally before we release the card and we end up kind of reworking it. In the case for Jack, we had this cool heal mechanic where when you refill mana, now he heals 1 for each mana that you refilled. This just makes it so that Jack is a bit sturdier and feels a bit more like a brawler. It also makes him play a lot more eloquently in prize fight decks, because you can use him to prize fight and then use your coins to heal him back up.
Sí, este cambio me gusta mucho, la verdad.
Risky pattern to do that, but we thought that was really apt for the character. And we just saw
Pues tiene sentido. Jack es un luchador. La moneda se usa de manera proactiva.
Seraphine decks as like a value card. So we really wanted to give him some exciting functionality back to let him get into combat and to be the brawler that he really is.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely say for some context.
Y no afecta tanto a Serafín, o sea que a Serafín poco le interesa esto. Más bien, Serafín quería guardarse la moneda para cuando estuviese evolucionada y un turno más elevado.
This character unique, like what gives them their spice, and you know, now that Jack's been out and we see where players are like kind of wanting to use him, but maybe he's not good enough. It makes it, you know, a lot better to see like, hey, like maybe we could help him out here, give him more of an identity and more of like a power boost to really do his thing.
Yeah, it's just played really well. Like the
El silencio del Discord. ¿Cómo así?
Plays really well in our sort of internal patch play tests, and then we're like can get it right into the game usually. So this is one of those.
Igual Jack era bueno. A nivel de stats, Jack era muy bueno.
Yeah, so Risky Venture, don't be fooled. This is definitely a buff. It's going up 1 cost, but it's dealing 1 more damage, which giving Bilgewater the ability to deal 3 to a unit without a keg is actually kind of spicy. Bilgewater is generally good at killing small units, but we thought for 4 mana, that's not really a premium rate, so we're kind of excited for this, especially in more
porque casi todo pasa un punto de daño, como mucho 2. Y con barril, bueno, alguito más, pero igual es muy situacional.
Of course, this is also his champion spell, so with this change, you'll be able to kill stuff, enable your brash units, make a lot of coins. And yeah, we're just excited to see what players do with Jack. And the last one we have is Angel. We decided, yeah, why not put some text on Angel? Of course, she was the 6/5 brash, everybody's favorite moody anglerfish. We gave her Plunder, create 3 coins. So now, not only does she fit in more decks, because she still fits in brash decks, prize fight decks, but now if you're plundering and maybe reactivating plunder, you can create a lot of coins. And also, this is really, really potent with Jack. And some crazy stuff. Like I think we had to develop a game where Frank leveled up his Jack on round 5 against me during this the dev play test. So pretty spicy card. And yeah, in general, I think Bilgewater wasn't creating enough coins. And we talked to Brian Koplek, who was the lead design on coins, and he mentioned that, you know, we might have fallen a little bit under our intent, which was, hey, Bilgewater should be able to create a lot of coins, but it's a bit riskier, right? You have to put Jack into combat, you have to use Risky Venture, you need to plunder. So this patch almost shifts
Coño, menos mal me compré ese skin de Jack, no jodas.
Which is one of the great reasons that we do these patches. Clean up some packages that might not have landed the way we intended.
Yeah, and Angel definitely a character that like I've just seen so many players be like, this character's so cool, I want to be able to play with them. So hopefully letting this get Angel into like more decks.
Este bicho tiene la voz de
I'm also personally really excited to see if y'all can do anything crazy with the plunder reactivators, like make just like a coin printing arsenal.
Yeah. Speaking of Angel. Angel happens to be one of the cards that may be in one of these decks because they have some 7A cards in them. So let's give away another deck. Let's make this one a tough one. I'm going to talk a little bit about the community. Which player over in Korea recently held an in-person event for people to play lore? So their name and then hashtag lore.
What?
Is this like an OG pre-buff?
Esa está más difícil.
Oh yeah,
piece of lore history.
The great part of physical cards is they cannot update.
Yeah, at Riot we have this sort of like entrance hallway where they have tons of lore cards that float through like rotating cycles, and Frank and I always walk by and joke because there's old Lux, there's like old Vanguard Sergeant. Pretty much we've changed a lot of cards through live because we just buff a lot of freaking, even though this patch is only 22 cards, we change a lot of cards. So usually if you see an old printed card, it's probably been changed, except for Timo, who is just obviously the perfect design as an annoying Yordle,
just like
who's elusive. Yeah, that is an iconic design.
Perfect level up animation.
Never been changed.
Runs in a little circle. What more can you want?
I think the only change we made to Timo is to give him a new level 2 card art, right?
We did give him a new card art with Beyond the
Ya mataron a Kaisa, falta Pantheon, Fernet. Tranquilo que falta poquito para que lo manden a dormir. Yo tengo fe.
You can also put it in English as well if you know their name in English. That is perfectly fine. We will search. All right, going to give you about 10 more seconds, and then we'll get on to the next set of things. I'm sure that we know what's coming up next. Great. All right, closing it out. Ooh, some of you are getting in late. All right, we're back.
Okay.
Alright,
Estos fueron los
next up
buffos
we
a
got
los subtipos,
some
¿no?
buffs to some of the
A las carticas en
subtype
eco.
cards that came out with 7B. Yep, so we're definitely hopeful that with the nerfs to things like Siren Song and some of the other big meta decks,
se ríe el
7B, just for quick context, Ruben added to this picture of Big Bird and Snuffleupagus to the side, and we laughed about it in the dev pit for like 30 minutes, and clearly it's still hitting pretty hard. So excuse us for that. But yeah, we're hoping that, you know, archetypes like Ambush and Nico and Poro King will naturally gain some leverage up with the nerfs to the oppressive cards, but we're also looking to throw in some buffs when we can. So these are two of the more expensive subtype followers that we are hoping can both serve Nico herself while also just seeing some splash play in other decks that just do like light subtype splashing. And you know, we got an extra couple stats for the Crested Lionhawk, and the Glacial Saurian is losing 1 health but gaining Overwhelm, really looking to give more finishing power to like the Nico.
Estos son medio al pedo, en mi opinión, pero bueno. A Glacial quizás, pero...
And next up, we got the warden of the subtypes themselves, yeah, the warden of the tribes. This isn't a card that came out with 7B, but this was like kind of like an old plant for just jamming a bunch of subtypes, and we're taking 1 cost off here. You know, the warden doesn't have a subtype itself, meaning you're not getting a discount from like Fruit and Ecologist. So getting up to 8 mana the good old-fashioned way can be pretty hard, but we're hoping that going from 9 to 8 will give you just enough that if you want to live the big over-the-top subtype dream, the warden can do that for you. And last but not least for the subtypes buffs, the Poro King. I've seen y'all really playing the Poro King, really loving the Poro King, but not doing a ton of winning with the Poro King. So we are hoping that this buff to Aurora Borealis will make spamming the Poros and growing the Poros a little bit easier, going from 6 cost to 5 cost. And we'll definitely say that Poro King, you know, if he doesn't really like rise with the tides, off of the nerfs, is a card we'll likely come back to look at again if he needs more buffs or quality of life bumps.
Can I give a shout out to a player?
Ahorita te respondo, simple güey.
I played him, or them, excuse me, on ladder, and they were just playing Warden of the Tribes already while we were developing this patch, and I was like,
bueno, no han dicho nada. Nada nuevo realmente.
They're probably gonna be real happy about that one. Maybe
no da mucho contexto de los cambios.
It's a Warden of Tribes is a powerful card, and if you can actually put it into play, you kind of just win on the spot.
Yeah.
Next up, we have a little Frostbite buff package, because what patch would be complete without some Frostbite buffs?
Más bien un rework, ¿no?
So this is centered around the Rhymefang pack and the cards that make it. They used to make the pack and make it lock in its stats on the spot based on how many times you've frostbitten. But frostbiting isn't really something you want to like spam early. So now instead, they're just going to scale their power based on how many times you frostbite in this game, and that power is going to continue to update even once they're in play and you keep frostbiting. The hope here is this will let you deploy them a little bit earlier.
Bueno, ya subí el video del parche. Cambiaron muchas cosas.
Grow them over time.
Mataron a Kaisa, las monedas.
Winds or like even Winter's Breaths going, and you can grow up to some really high attack, overwhelming Rhymefang packs to just give frostbite more options to close out the game.
Oh no, no, I mean I was just thinking in my head, it's just another one of those changes that played really well in testing. Might look like a weird like rework. You know, whether it lands like better or worse, we just are happy to make those cards feel better.
Yeah, it's an interesting one because we actually worked on that back in the last patch that Steve and I did, but at the time Ash LeBlanc was kind of crushing it, so we were like, we kind of shied away, and because we just didn't want to do it at that time. But that's something we do pretty often, is be like, okay, like we know this is a good change and it's satisfying to play, but this isn't the right time. We put it in the pocket and now we're bringing it back out.
El fondo parece un PNG, ¿verdad?
Right, into some variety buffs.
Yeah, was this me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Sure. I got lost in the sauce there. Yeah, so we are moving Hush up to 2 mana. Hush is really a card that ever since equipment has kind of become a major mechanic in lore, especially with a lot of the Darkin. We've seen Hush really be pushed out of the meta in a way that we don't love internally, because Hush is the main way that we want Targon to interact. At least it should be one of their premium spells they use to sort of be able to sort of not necessarily remove things, but efficiently.
Pero el Hush costó 2 de maná, ¿no?
And we've also seen Targon really move into this sort of
originalmente costaba 2,
style, which is totally in their kit. We haven't seen too much Targon control, especially in standard.
Fue 2-3, después generaba la copia.
So yeah, we're moving Hush up.
Después le quitaron lo de la copia.
more effective as one of Targon's main as
rotísimo, ¿no? Verga.
And the
Qué roto que era Hush.
Here we're just adding on the sort of merciless hunter text so that it enables itself or play to grant enemy vulnerable. Obviously, giving things vulnerable and the sort of archetype around Renekton is something that has been one of the should be another one of those things that is a strength of Shurima, but we really haven't seen that play out, especially in Standard recently. So we thought we'd give a rework here just to re-enable that archetype and give some life to a card that has never really seen.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting with a card like Witherclaw, because like we've talked about adding this vulnerable text on for a while, and from a very designery standpoint, it's like, oh, like
imagino que esto, bueno, obviamente que para Renekton, pero tipo para el Renekton con Demacia quizás.
One card, we want like players to work with it in combo, but sometimes in like a competitive environment, that's just not realistic.
Yeah.
Porque el efecto de la carta es muy bueno, el tema es que
coño,
que coste 5, no sé. Cae en un turno muy
it's like just a little easier to get that ball rolling.
Muy
yeah,
complicado.
It's the classic like more expensive followers really need to do something when they come into play in order to be effective, so thought we'd take that wisdom here.
Right.
Yeah, and the last one is the Faithful Wolf Dog. A bit
Buenísimo.
of a quality of life change more than a buff, but it will now
El
instead of
perrito
being a
con el
2/3,
martillo.
it will take the equipment you equip onto and it will forge it, so that equipment will be permanently +1/+, and that's it.
Oh man.
I guess I didn't give reasoning, I just explained it. We just
Coño,
think that this
sí,
makes the
diálogo,
card play a
coño, tu
little
madre.
better. This is actually the first instance of Forge in Demacia, and we just thought that was an exciting thing.
Especially because, you know, when you're putting a bunch of small equipment in your deck to facilitate,
Espero que esto también de juego que se juegue Jax con Bane, por ejemplo, y se salga de Orm, que está buenísimo, funciona, pero a mí no me gusta para nada, no me gusta para nada cómo se juega con Orm. Es muy lento, poco interactivo, me da pereza.
The chat also
Puro ataca, que te limpia un bichito con el costeo y ya. Pero con Bane tiene más jueguito, cataclismo, sin el combo, te bufea.
It's the only dog that forges.
Exactly.
I even had to pause because I was like, wait, we made so many dogs recently.
Dougmacia. Great. So that's all of our buffs in 4.7. Good roundup. As always, you know, if you have questions about stuff, if you're enjoying stuff, let us know on Twitter, let us know on Reddit. Tag the account, and you know, we pop in. We've got amazing devs who love spending time with y'all, which is really something awesome. I'm pretty stoked about it. Other things I'm stoked about. One last booster.
One last booster.
Who wants to give this one away?
Yeah, I think Frank wants to. Yeah.
Okay.
It's the hard one.
Yeah. So hopefully my knowledge of the Soul Fighter universe is correct here, and this question makes sense. But
hay un creador de Venezuela.
There are two best friends who have Soul Fighter skins.
¿Cómo se llama?
And they are forced to fight against each other in the Soul Fighter tournament despite their friendship. Which two characters are those?
Don't forget to include
dos peleadores que compiten entre ellos, que son amigos.
And while people are answering, shout out to Matt
dentro del universo de Soul Fighter.
Booster packs.
Yeah, it is
for players.
It is worth noting that Matt was talking to us before this.
¿Cuáles
And
son?
the rest of the team like literally put these booster packs and made the cards with their own human hands. And like sealed the packs with a heat sealer. And they went really all out for y'all.
Winnie Pike.
Super awesome.
Massive shout out to the
cierto que son como novios, ¿no? Bueno, novios no, son amigos, ¿no? No sé. Tienen allí como una cosita.
And really led that charge to make some really cool things for y'all. They're real booster packs sealed in foils. They got shinies, they got all sorts of stuff. So hope that those of you that win them enjoy them, and hope to be able to do more cool things for y'all in the future as we continue to do this.
Bueno, pero no dijeron mucho.
Yeah.
Casi que leyeron las diapositivas.
And yeah, again, thank you all for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in.
Hope that you have a great day.
Enjoy the patch.
Están como apurados, ¿no? Bueno, thanks for watching. La sorpresa es el viaje. Es el viaje, los amigos que hiciste en este momento, la media hora que compartimos acá, esa sorpresa, el tiempo de calidad, te menosprecia los buenos momentos. Pasaron media hora más conmigo, ¿eh? Coño, yo me iba a ir para el coño de la madre. Ganamos todos acá. Bueno, chicos, básicamente eso fue todo.